on that. So because the sun and the moon are very intelligent. So at the time when the nectar was going to be served to Rahu, sun and moon actually understood, oh, this is a demon sitting in between us here. And so they said, hey, I think it's actually Mohini Murti herself. They called her, please kill this demon. He's getting it. But he was actually drinking already the nectar was inside his mouth of Rahu. But then Mohini Murti, she sent the chakra. The chakra is always with the Lord. So the chakra is the killing weapon. So chakra was just chopping off the head of the demon. But already the nectar had come into the mouth. So the head of the demon was falling down, but it was like still alive. So that is Rahu. It's a planet. It's a planet in the sky actually called Rahu. It's an invisible planet. And since that time, he's always very inimical because he lost his body. He only has the head. So he is always very inimical towards the sun and the moon. So he sometimes, at specific times, which can be calculated by knowledge of Jyotish, so astrologers and astronomers in the Vedic culture, they calculate when there will be eclipse. So this Rahu is an invisible planet who comes in front of the moon, and so then you cannot see the moon anymore. But then you see Rahu. So actually, this is said that then Rahu becomes visible. The one verse in Bhagavatam says it. Then you actually can say, oh, there is Rahu. He's in front of the moon, like this. So yeah, the point is again, because it's some kind of theme is baked in here. You can see it's like inauspicious Rahu. When he's there, at this moment in time when there is eclipse, it's also said it's inauspicious time. Okay, so then also we should do religious duties. In India, of course, this. So then they chant a lot. They chant the scriptures, Hare Krishna mantra. So actually, they did this. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born. It was also an eclipse, wasn't it? Yeah. So then they were chanting Hare Krishna like anything. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born, so it was a nice occasion. We were chanting. So we turn all these evil things, we turn it into something good. That's the point. So like now the city is full of demons. What does the devotee do? He goes out and distributes books. He does Sankirtan Yoga. And then, you make the inauspicious time to auspicious time. So that's the point, that at these junctions of the so it's actually inauspicious. Because then the demonic forces are powerful. But for devotees it's not inauspicious because we do auspicious things at those moments. We make them even more auspicious. And I mean, we become more auspicious by doing spiritual activity at these points. So you see, when you do material activities, or it's kind of like demonic activities when it's not service to Krishna, it is demonic. Then it becomes more inauspicious. But when a devotee does devotional activities at these inauspicious times, then it becomes more devotional power out of it. We get more devotional merit. It's always like this. It's either black and white. It really is like that. And especially at these times. So that's why we could also draw some spiritual power from this, from using these specific times for increased devotional service. In that way. Otherwise, it's also not really required for a devotee to know all these things about the auspicious and inauspicious times. But if you have the knowledge, then you can even utilize that. Like Ekadashi also is a very spiritual, powerful time, and again, it brings very, very heavy time for materialistic activity. You can only eat if you eat normally, like grains, or even meat. Then even more heavy reaction will be there, because sin personified is there, and gives heavy reaction extra than if you eat grains and meat on other days. So if you chant more, the more devotional service on the Ekadashi, it's more spiritual power than if you did on another day, like this. So that thing goes also with eclipse, and there's so many other times. Actually, Rahu is also, he's representing actually heavy things for everybody in life. In astrology, is like very prominent. Because it's influencing portions of time. Actually, it's every day there is a portion of time called the Rahu Kalam. I don't think it's more than 1 or 2 hours, something like this. Every day, where if you want to do some material activity, then don't do it at that time of day, because it will be more difficult to get success. It's actually like this. So the smarter Brahmins, the people, maybe people are very ritualistic and so on, they always avoid doing specific things, for their material, They do prayers and religious things at this time of the day. So I saw on the internet, they even have a calculator, because this is calculated, it's like different, just like we have a Kaddish, it's like slightly different time, calculation. When we break the fast on the Kaddish, it's like different times every time we break it. This is calculated according to the sun and the moon, actually according to the moon phase, because it's all changing according to our modern clock. So like that, also this calculation of the inauspicious time of the day is also calculated. It's varying times a little bit. But we don't need to worry about that, because we're just doing devotional service, right? So then, it all becomes auspicious for us. But it may be an explanation, that sometimes, if we do some material activity, and sometimes we make it more heavy reaction, and we think, why is this happening? It may be because actually we do it at especially inauspicious time. And it's only not just like that, it's also days, different days of the week are more auspicious and inauspicious, different things. And also days of the month and days of the year. So some days, like we have the demons, they're having different powerful positions. They're like spread out, They're given this, because after all, the material world is a place where you can do demonic things. So there is like different times where actually the demons are more powerful and give powerful influence. So that means if I'm going to do some material activity at a specific time, in the day, in the month, then that material activity may be really, really unsuccessful, because I'm in ignorance actually of what is actually happening, what kind of influence is there. So, better off just always do devotional activity and be safe, because then you do devotional activity, it doesn't matter, even though the day is governed by demons, and this is really, really inauspicious day, with all different bad signs is there, and it's really creepy. But if you distribute books, it becomes turnover, because the demigods see, and Krishna sees, most of all, he sees, now the devotee is distributing, he's doing pure devotional service now, when it's the most inauspicious day, and the demons are most powerful at this point of time, but still the devotee is going out, and he's pushing books, and chanting Hare Krishna, doing preaching, like this. So nice, I must help him a little extra, Krishna thinks then, I must help him a little extra. And also the demigods, it said that Prabhupada says in one purport that there is an invisible bound of cooperation between the demons between the demigods and the devotees, so that the devotees are always helped actually by the demigods. Prabhupada writes this one place. The demigods are very, very favorable to the devotees. They like this when the devotees, go out of their way to do devotional service. So that means, that in spite, all the inauspicious times now in Kali Yuga is the most inauspicious yuga of all the different times. There's 4 yugas. Satya Yuga is very, very auspicious for all kinds of spiritual activity. Goes very easy in that age. You can just sit down and meditate, and you don't need to worry about eating even. There's no agriculture in Satya Yuga. Nobody's like having to plow the earth. There's just trees and plants everywhere, and you just pick and eat, and there's so much nourishment because there is no pollution, no factories. So much prana is there, you just eat one apple and it's just like you're full, and you can meditate for thousands of years, with this prana. And the rest you just get in by the air, because the sun is also giving some nice energy, and there's no, bad elements like that to cover over. But then the Treta Yuga comes, and the little vice is introduced, the little evil is there. So you have to now do big yagas, fire yagas. But the people are able to chant the mantras perfectly, and the demigods are coming to the yagas and so on. So it's also quite more easy time. But then it comes to Dvapara Yuga, and also more evil is there. So then in Dvapara Yuga, then you can't even do yagas properly. So then you have to do deity worship, like we do here, but much more elaborate, of course, with so many mantras, and that they're able to do that. But the demigods are not so much visible, so you need to have stages like this. and Vishnu is also not coming so much to visit them. So at this stage you worship. You don't need to worship, representations, deities in Treta. They come personally. As we read here, Vishnu is personally coming and all the demigods and like this. So like this, and then Kali Yuga, we cannot even do deity worship properly. But of course, we keep it, and because they said even in Kali Yuga we should do this to just recognize what is the mode of goodness. Without deity worship, we will not have an idea what is the mode of goodness, like this. So deities should still be there. But then to have success, then we have to chant Hare Krishna mantra. So that's why even the leader of the demons, he says this in Bhagavatam. The leader of the guru of the demons, not the leader of the demons, but the brahmana for the demons is Shukracharya. So he says that despite all the bad circumstances in terms of time and place and person and so on, he says, Sarvam karoti nishchidram, all these faults, these chidras, these faults, desha kala arha vastuta, in terms of desha, in the place, kala in terms of time. There is inauspicious times of the day and the week and the month and the year, and like this, and the vastu, the different paraphernalia, for worship and so on. There may be some dirty things or not proper items for worshipping the Lord in the rituals and so on. But it says, Sarva Karati Nishchidram, all these faults will be rectified by one element, and that is Anu Sankirtanam Tava, by doing constant Sankirtan. Tava, of you, of the Lord, he is speaking in prayer to the Lord. So by doing constant glorification of the Lord, then somehow or other, everything, all the faults will be rectified and everything will actually be auspicious. And this goes, of course, especially for Kali Yuga. Because in Kali Yuga, in general, the atmosphere is said to be inauspicious. Here you say, may in the day there will be an inauspicious time, like this, but actually in general the time is inauspicious. It's like, the general setting. So that means that somewhere or other there will be inauspicious anyway, whenever you do it, but it will be more inauspicious. But in general it is inauspicious, okay, like this. So that's why we said in Kali we should just chant all the time. Literally, we should actually chant all the time. But we may not be able to do it, physically, but we do it internally. Always the Maha Mantra is there. We never forget the Maha Mantra. Like this. And then somewhere or other we will avoid, getting demons into our family if we do this. So thank you. Any comments or questions? Wow, I stopped early today. Thank you for your good influence. Yeah.
I was just thinking, in terms of this astrology, different planets. I hear each person, each individual here on the planet, they go through different periods. Of course, there's shorter periods and longer periods, but in spans of years.
Yeah.
For example, you might be under the influence of Saturn for a period of 6, 7
Yeah,
years.
that's true. Yeah.
Does Rahu also have a period?
It said there's 9 planets. Of course, I'm not a learned person in this subject, but the little I know is that there's 9 planets. And you have, they're called grahas, because they're graha means to grasp or to influence. So they're influencing your life in these. But the point is, that's for your whole material life. But if you do devotional service, somehow or other you make the best out of the bad bargain. But the material side will still come usually. You may also be saved by it, because if you do pure devotional service. I heard the example, there was one devotee, actually he's a spiritual master in the home, he actually said he was supposed to die at one specific time, according to his horoscope, Vedic horoscope. So and different experts in this, they said, you're supposed to die at this time in your life. He has passed a certain age. But he said somehow or other it didn't happen, even though it was very clear in the word. And he understood it was because he was constantly chanting Hare Krishna. So yeah, it's true. The Rahu is also there influencing. a specific time period. But we shouldn't worry too much about this. We don't even need to do research into all this, because it doesn't actually make a big change. You know, if you have a bad future, you can rectify it, it's said. But you need a lot of knowledge to do that. You know, if you're going to rectify it in terms of the material things. Say, for example, in the future, you're supposed to have, you know, some kind of less assets in any material field. You know, but somehow or other, you can it still will happen. Usually, you still will get, you know, that kind of change in your life towards, you know, you lose something or you will get something. We always talk, of course, we want to avoid the negative. So it said, by choosing the right time, by understanding what I spoke about, you know, there's bad times to do things and good times. For example, it said that in marriage, for Vedic marriage to be successful, you know, they may have bad, you know, future according to, you know, their predictions. You know, like you say, there is inauspicious time, but they can make the best out of the bad bargain. To choose the best time period, you know, auspicious time period, so they will have marriage, you know, on a very auspicious time, which is influenced by you know, very good stellar influences like this. So they will, you know, choose to have, you know, marriage on this instead of having marriage on another time. Like, you know, here, you know, you have some material thing going on in an inauspicious time of the day, then you get demonic children. And same thing is with all activities we do. If you do it at an inauspicious time, it will give, you know, more inauspicious influence, which will influence the result of what we do here. But if you do it in an auspicious time of the day, which, you know, you can find, then, you know, it will help you, so that even though, you know, you may be in an inauspicious time period of your life, if you do that thing at the most auspicious time you can find it, then, you know, it will not be that bad, like that. But then again, for devotees, then, you know, Krishna, he may be, you know, bless that, even though you're in an inauspicious time of your life. So then it may be successful still, because you're doing it as a devotional service to Krishna, like that. So that's the reason why we don't need to worry too much about this. Because when Prabhupada said, you know, you just, you know, chant and you read Bhagavatam and, you know, associate with devotees, do pure devotional service, you don't need to worry about anything. Okay? Yeah?
This Rahu, you said, yeah, like he was not influenced by this Mohini Murti.
Yeah.
But then we hear like later on then that Lord Shiva is influenced.
Yeah, but he wanted to, because Shiva said, please show me your illusory Mohini Murti. I want to see it in action. So, you know, he was calling for it, like this. There's a difference. It was not like Shiva was like. You know, Shiva said, you know, he can see everything that goes on there. So Shiva, he's like the super soul. He sees everything that's going on. So it was not like when that act was going on that Shiva also was just melting like this. No, he just, you know, he could have chosen, you know, to. I mean, the thing is, he could have chosen that, you know, I don't want to see the Mohini Murti. For me, he would be cool, like this. So I think the thing is probably, I don't know, but it probably Rahu, he didn't look at Mohini Murti. That's what I think. He understood, you know, he just had his antennas open and, you know, okay, something fishy is going on, okay, I just steer away from this whole scene. I think that must be the reason, because if Rahu had looked at Mohini Murti, then definitely he must have melted also. Don't you think so? I think that must be the reason, yeah. So
sounds plausible.
Yeah. So, yeah, let's stop. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.